everyone, I am Manatsa Rao and you are watching LawPutra's YouTube channel. Well, every law student reads various Bear Acts, statutes and books to understand the real meaning of law. Indeed, all these Bear Acts and statutes give you the real meaning of law. But if you want to understand the real purpose of law and the real soul of law, then you must read the real literature of law. And in today's video, I will give you a list of 10 books that every law student must read. Well, by reading these books, you will get to understand law from the perception of the society and from the perception of the common man. And they will help you to understand the law and use it and apply it in a better manner. So come, let us begin. So the first book is To Kill a Mockingbird by the author Harper Lee. Well, this is a classic in the legal literature. It is a very simple, straightforward and an endearing story. It brings out the relationship shared between a father and a daughter, and it also throws light on various issues like racism and race. Well, this story is set in a small town and in the background of Great Depression. This novel also depicts a scene where a conflict is shown between two powers, mainly the law and the court during a rape trial. Well, this book is a must read as it will give you an amazing and an enjoyable experience to understand the law. So the second book is Bleak House by Charles Dickens. Now, this story will give you an insight that how law is actually experienced by the common people and how this law controls and shapes the life of people. This story revolves around the concept that how law interferes with the personal lives of the people and how people deal with law. Well, concepts like due process of law, impact of law, social structure, the class, misfortune and legacy all are discussed in this novel. So the third novel is The Firm by John Grisham. Now this is a thrilling novel which tells the story of a successful lawyer who was born and raised in a rural background, but he through his hard work paved out his way out of poverty and labor. In this novel, the lawyer gets tied up with the mafia and then he tries to expose the link between the law and the criminal world. Well, this story also throws light on the fact that how administrative authorities do corrupt practices and how they allow the evil and the corrupt practices and the crime to persist in the society. Well, the next book is Mahabharata and other epics like Ramayana, Manusmritis and Upanishads. Now, these may seem to you as an unusual choice, but definitely these are a must-read books for a lawyer. All these will tell us that how in the situation of crisis, a human being must maintain a code of conduct and must not forget his sense of morality. Now these also throws light on the rich legal history of India and how the laws used to operate in the ancient India. Well, all these revolve around the common themes like marriage, family, internal conflicts, the role of teacher, war, etc. So if you are an Indian law aspirant, these books are a must read for you. Next book is The Merchant of Venice by Shakespeare. Now this is a dramatic play by Shakespeare and it revolves around the message of legal culture, interpretation of law, interpretation of legal writings, the legal history, rule of law, role of lawyer and the lawyers. And it also brings out the conflict between the Christians and the Jews. Next novel is Anonymous Lawyer by Jeremy Blackman. Well, this story will provide you a perspective that how the big law firms work in the legal industry and what are the internal working of these law firms. This is a story of a legal counselor who works hard and tries to move forward to reach to the position of administrator of his law firms. This book depicts the challenges faced by this lawyer, like the unpleasant rivals and the spouse who spends money as easily and as quickly as the lawyer earns it. Well, this novel has a pinch of humor. So if you want to enjoy this concept of law and the law firms, then this book is a must read for you. So the next novel is The Trial by Franz Kafka. Well, we see law as a very ideal, but in this novel you will understand that author has given his opinions on a very different note. Well, according to the author in this book, law is arbitrary, law is subjective, it is abstract, it does not exhibit any values of justice and equality, and also this novel says that judges are full of corruption. Well, the law seems to be ideal to us, but according to the author, the law is manifested very differently in the society. So this book is a very different concept from the actual how we perceive law in reality. So the next novel that I would suggest you is Crime and Punishment. Well, this is a story of a poor student who plans to kill and murder her corrupt pawnbroker for her money. But later, after this planned act, the student herself goes into guilty self-hatred and blame. This novel also raises philosophical questions and dilemmas that every lawyer has to deal on daily basis, and then they have to make the choice. Well, various moral, ethical problems, the dilemmas, all are addressed in this book that a lawyer have to face to support a person or to not support a person. Next novel is Snow Falling on Cedar by David Gutterson. Now this is a case of homicide and an American Japanese is blamed for the same. This novel helps us understand two very common legal principles, that is innocent till proved guilty and guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Now these are two common principles, and in this novel you will get to understand the glimpse of these principles. This novel also throws light on biasness, discrimination, separation, cultural conflicts, love, faith, and all these problems. And lastly, the last book that I would suggest you is Presumed Innocent by Scout Turow. Now in this book, a very attractive and an intelligent prosecutor is charged with the murder of his colleague. Now this book is full of suspense and drama, and it will keep you on the edge of your seat because the case itself, the legal questions involved, the prosecution, the verdict of the judge is full of drama and suspense. Well, these are the 10 books that every law student must read. Hope you all like it. Thank you for watching LawPutra.